I'll tell you right now. His largeness is so big that his hugeness can hardly contain it. That's what I'm saying about Sathya Sai Baba. Because Sathya Sai Baba is challenging to be around. Because he makes you grow. He makes you look at yourself. He makes you look at what's doing the looking. And his campus, his ashram, was a kingdom, and he was a king. He was a king, and he sat on the throne every day. Every day of the year, he sat on the throne. That's all he did. Came out and walked and blessed and sat and went home. And I've spoken with him, and I knew him like people know him. In the way that people know him, I knew him well. As we knew him. Which means he didn't really know him. And I've had interviews from Sai Baba 2 times and spoke for some duration. He blessed me a lot. And my experience with him was personal, and it was wonderful, and I knew him for many years, and he blessed me endlessly in ways I can go on about for days. So I like to talk about it. Who is Sai Baba? Question that people ask. People ask you out there, always ask you, who is he? Who's that? And if you already know who he is, and you're already being blessed by him, then, you know, it's a hopeless love story thing where it's hard to explain. And you don't even need to, because, as I always say, Swami doesn't make any promises to mankind for salvation or anything. It's not mandatory that you make a decision about what you think about Sai Baba, or if you're right or wrong about it, that it's a big deal. But those of us that know him, you know, we're just smitten, so what can you do? The relationship is it's a funny. In this age we live in, all kinds of strange things happen, and the incarnation of Sathya Sai Baba was one of them. And the story that he told, and how he lived, and how he blessed us, and how he walked on the earth for so long, free of scandals. Other gurus in India, you know, they've been arrested and put in jail and even killed. Sai Baba, though, even though people said things, he still walked freely. Every day of his life, he walked out. Imagine walking out twice a day, every day of the year, for your whole life, and just talking to hundreds or thousands of people. Twice a day, and plus years. You know, even just that, that's a lot of work, isn't it? Does a person need a vacation? Anyway, he was beautiful, and I loved him, and I love to take his darshan. And I've done it thousands of times. And that's how I can say that Sathya Sai Baba is a beautiful person, because I knew him. You see, I've experienced him a lot. And that's more than most people who criticize him have never even met him, never had his darshan, and never gone there to meet the guru of gurus and see what the difference is between Sathya Sai Baba and actually any other being or guru that ever lived. He was a unique expression of God's love on earth, and he was beautiful, and we loved him, and he did so many great things on earth as a person, and Man, we can't say enough good things about Sai Baba. But, like I said, it doesn't matter what you think about him ultimately, because he doesn't make any statement like Christ did, which forces you to make a decision whether you believe what he said was true or not. And you'll have to make a choice about Jesus Christ, beautiful Son of God, who was also known as the Lamb of God. And he had many names, and he was beautiful too. And we love him, and we accept his offering. And that's a good thing to do. So I say, you're either sweet on Sai Baba or you're not. He is sweet, I will say that. And I've spoken with him myself many times. I've had actually hundreds of interactions with him. So I can speak as to his sweetness because I've tasted it. And I've eaten from his table, and I've shared birthday cake with him, and received prasad, which is gifts, offerings of sweets many times, blessed by his hand, because that's what the lifestyle is like there. Prasanti Nilayam, the highest abode of peace, they call it. It's the name, Prasanti Nilayam. A beautiful name, Prasanti Nilayam. And it's a immaculate kingdom. And he was an immaculate king, and he still is. And he'll always be in that place, the crown jewel of Puttaparthi. Prasanti Nilayam, Sai Baba, it's its crown jewel. And I went to see him for many years, and I miss him. Miss his physical presence, because it was so beautiful. And the interactions were so deep between the ones who loved him, and how he shared himself, and what he showed each person what they needed to see. How he magically represented God on earth and led people down the road. And he showed me what I needed to see, and told me things that happened in my life that no one knew. Things that were private that happened when I was alone. And, it was bad. And he said I had a mad mind and a monkey mind. He said sometimes mad mind, sometimes monkey mind. Actually, he said sometimes monkey mind, sometimes mad mind. Because I've been around, I've done some things. That's where I come from. And he said that to me, and it really shook my world. But he wasn't mad at me at all, and I felt that I came free in that moment. And those things he was talking about, the behaviors and things, I walked away. I took the one-step program from certain mindsets and sin, crime, things like that. Most people would have considered me all the way bad, I was all the way bad. Living a life that was be considered bad. But, I never harmed people, and actually, My life was really, I would call it colorful. And I have wonderful stories. We have wonderful stories to tell. But the spiritual drama is the drama that's important. And you only have so much time to talk in life, and you should speak of love, and you should speak of God, and how you believe, and what you believe, and why, and live it in such a way that people are inspired by you. That's all I want to encourage, is to bring beautiful words to earth, and make sure all the words I bring to earth are beautiful, and all the words I create are beautiful, and they're a blessing in the garden of life, and that God sees them as lovely and receives them as an offering.